Her name is Lumana Tamrakar. Lumana Tamrakar is a little bit older than you. She's 14. And the story that she told me is called Punthaku Maicha. This is the name of the girl in the story. Punthaku Maicha. That's the name of the girl in the story. Again, this girl is about the same age as you. Would you like me to tell you the story that Lumana told to me? Of course. Now, the thing is, I'm going to tell the beginning of the story. And then I'm going to stop. And I'm going to ask you to imagine what happened after that. Okay? So you are going to imagine the end of the story. Finally, I will tell you the ending that her grandmother told her. Did everybody understand that? Shall I repeat that again? I'm going to tell the beginning of the story, then I'm going to stop. You are going to create your ending to the story. Finally, at the end of the session, I will tell you Lumana's ending that she told me. Does everybody understand?
Yes.
Wonderful. Story.
Tell us a story.
Once there was a girl called Punthaku Maicha. Punthaku Maicha lived far, far away, deep in a forest. She lived with her mother and her father and her goat. She had no brothers or sisters. Her goat was her only friend. How do you say goat in Dutch? She loved her goat. The goat went everywhere with her. Her mother stayed at home and looked after the house, and Punthaku Maicha and her father and the goat went into the forest to find food. They found some roots, some berries. They found some firewood to make their house warm. But her father said, "My daughter, Punthaku Maicha, be careful in the forest, because in the forest there is a monster, the Rakshas. The Rakshas has sharp teeth. The Rakshas eats children." Well, sometimes Punthaku Maicha's father had to travel far away to find work. He was gone for a long time, weeks or even months. And when he was away, Punthaku Maicha went into the forest with the goat, but the goat protected her. But one day, her own mother became ill and died. And Punthaku Maicha was all alone with the goat. But the goat helped her. The goat gave her milk. And when her father returned home, he was so sorry and sad to find his wife had died. And Punthaku Maicha, how are you going to manage with no mother to look after you? He went away and came back with a new wife, a stepmother for Punthaku Maicha. And she treated Punthaku Maicha well. She loved her like her own daughter. But soon time passed, and the stepmother had her own baby, a baby boy, a half-brother for Punthaku Maicha. But then things changed. Her stepmother loved her little boy, but she always said, "Punthaku Maicha, fetch the firewood. Punthaku Maicha, make the food. Punthaku Maicha, clean the house." Punthaku Maicha was suddenly like a slave. Her stepmother stopped loving her. She didn't even give her food. And when her father came home, Punthaku Maicha couldn't tell him. And he didn't see the truth of how badly her stepmother treated her. Well, time went on. Punthaku Maicha was getting hungry and getting thin. Her stepmother gave her no food. All the food was for herself and the little boy. Punthaku Maicha was getting thin. Please, goat, help me. And the goat went into the house, and the goat took food and brought the food outside and gave the food to Punthaku Maicha. Every day, the goat took food from the house for her. Punthaku Maicha was no longer thin. Her stepmother said to her little boy, who had now grown up a little, "Go and watch your sister. How does she get her food?" So the little boy went out of the house and followed his sister to the edge of the forest. And he saw the goat bringing her food from the house. "Mother, mother, mother," said the little boy, "my half-sister Punthaku Maicha is stealing food from our house. She's a thief. She's feeding herself because of the goat. The goat is helping her." Well, the stepmother was furious. She caught the goat, she killed the goat, she cooked the goat, and she ate the goat's meat. Punthaku Maicha had nobody to help her, nobody to protect her. She was all alone. Punthaku Maicha took the bones of the goat. How do you say bones in Dutch? Took the bones of the goat. Did you understand what bones are? Can you tell him?
Botten.
Okay.
De botten van de geit.
He took the bones of the goat, and she took the bones into the forest. And there was a tree, and she put the bones under the tree. Well, you know, without the goat to protect her, what came from the forest? The monster. The monster. The Nepali word for this monster is the Rakshas. Can you say? The Rakshas came through the forest. The Rakshas was bigger than a man. The Rakshas had red eyes, a long tongue, sharp teeth. The Rakshas was covered in hair. The Rakshas came closer. The Rakshas was hungry. The Rakshas came to the tree and smelt the girl. The Rakshas looked at her. But when Punthaku Maicha looked at the Rakshas, Punthaku Maicha was crying. That's not the end of the story. I wonder what happened next. Punthaku Maicha was looking at the Rakshas and she was crying. What did Punthaku Maicha say to the monster? There are no wrong answers. Everything is possible in this story. We're working with your imagination like the old woman in the story. So just everybody, put your hand up like this. Everybody. Everybody, put your hand up.
Everybody.
Put your hand up. And if I see your hand up, I will ask you the answer to my question. So, what did Punthaku Maicha say to the Rakshas.
Help me.
Punthaku Maicha said, "Help me." The Rakshas looked at Punthaku Maicha, and what did the Rakshas say to her? Don't call out, put up your hand. The Rakshas spoke and said, "Yes, I will help you." Can you describe the Rakshas's voice? Like this. Okay, everybody. Can everybody say it with the Rakshas voice? I will. The Rakshas listened to her story. She told the Rakshas about the goat's bones. What did the Rakshas do?
Take the bones.
The Rakshas picked up the bones of the goat with his long fingers. And what happened? Everybody, put up your hand. Everybody can put your ideas in the story. What happened?
He eats the bones.
The Rakshas began to eat the bones of her goat. And what was the sound of the eating the bones? Every crunch, crack, crunch, crack, crunch, crack, crunch, crack. And the Rakshas swallowed the bones of her goat. And then Punthaku Maicha heard something. What did she hear?
Her goat.
She heard her goat. Can you make a goat sound? Where was the sound coming from? If you don't know how to say it in English, you can say it in Dutch and your friends will help you. So where did the sound of the goat come from? From the forest. Punthaku Maicha looked, and what did she see? Put your hand up. Her goat. Her goat was there, between the trees. How did she feel? She was so happy. What did she do? She ran to her goat and she held her goat. My goat, you are alive again. But then the Rakshas did something else. What did the Rakshas do?
Eat the stepmother.
Did the Rakshas eat the stepmother? Yes. How did the Rakshas find the stepmother?
He smelled her shells.
Smelt her jealousy. Her child.
Yeah.
The boy. The Rakshas sniffed. Can you do a Rakshas sniff? And the Rakshas could smell the little half-brother of Punthaku Maicha. And where was the boy? In house. And the Rakshas came through the forest towards the house where her little half-brother and her cruel stepmother lived. And when the Rakshas got to the house, what did the Rakshas do? Everybody can put your hands up with your ideas. We've all got lovely ideas and nothing is wrong. Everything is possible. Oh yes. The Rakshas made a strange, monstrous, Rakshas sound. Everybody. Roar. Everyone, make your Rakshas sound. Now, nice and loud. 3, 2, 1, and... happened to the house? What happened? What happened to the house?
He climbed up.
What?
Bird.
The house burned. The house caught on fire. And the fire raged. The flames reaching the sky. And inside, who was burning? Her half-brother and her stepmother were both burning in the house. What happened? What happened? What happened to her half-brother? He died? And what happened to her stepmother? Both of them were burned to death. Where was Punthaku Maicha?
Forest.
Did she stay in the forest? Put your hand up, everybody. I'd love to hear from some different students. She left the house.
She go to the house.
With the goat.
Yeah.
Punthaku Maicha and her goat came to the house. And when they got to the house, they found it was burned. And they found among the house ashes, there were the bones of her cruel stepmother and the bones of her little half-brother. How did Punthaku Maicha feel? She was sad. She was sad. What did she say to the Rakshas?
Why did you kill
Okay, did everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Why did you kill my half-brother? Everybody, can you say it?
Why did you kill my own brother?
And what did the Rakshas say? Yeah?
I like it.
I wanted to.
I was hungry.
I was hungry, but I burned down their house. Or did the Rakshas eat the meat of their bodies? Okay.
And then we eat those.
Sorry? Punthaku Maicha said, eat the bones. And the monstrous Rakshas picked up the bones of her half-brother. And what was the sound? Crunch, crack, crunch, crack. And swallowed them down. And then, what happened? There was? Where? She heard her little brother calling from the forest. And there, coming out of the forest towards the house, was her half-brother. And he was alive again. Did the Rakshas eat the bones of her stepmother as well?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
No. Did her father come home?
Yes.
And when her father came home, what happened?
He killed him because he was afraid.
Her father found the Rakshas. The Rakshas was there with his daughter and his son and the goat. The Rakshas. Her father. How did her father kill the Rakshas? He took his bow and a sharp arrow and he shot the Rakshas where?
In their
In the heart?
yes.
He shot the Rakshas through the heart, and the Rakshas, what happened? The Rakshas, come on, put your hand up. Let's hear from more people. Yeah?
Was alive.
The Rakshas wasn't killed.
Yeah.
Sorry? He stayed alive.
Yeah.
Even with the arrow through him, the Rakshas was not killed. Because the Rakshas is a monstrous spirit from the forest. What did the Rakshas do? This is the end of the story now. We've got to get to the end now. What did the Rakshas do?
We tell everything to the father of
Say that again.
He told his whole story to the father.
Punthaku Maicha told her father everything that had happened. And when her father heard what had happened, what did he do? How did he feel? He was happy. My daughter and my son are still alive. And they all lived, except for the stepmother, they all lived happily ever after. Can you say that? They all lived happily ever after. And that is the end of the story. Do you think your ending is the same as Lumana's ending? It's completely different. Story.
Tell us a story.
The Rakshas saw Punthaku Maicha. And Punthaku Maicha said, she was crying. She was crying. And the Rakshas said, why are you crying? And Punthaku Maicha said, my goat was killed and eaten by my cruel stepmother. And she told the Rakshas everything. The Rakshas heard this. And he saw that she was hungry. And the Rakshas went into the forest and brought delicious magical food from the forest. And the girl ate the food. When she came home, her stepmother saw that there was food in her fingernails. Where did you get that food? Punthaku Maicha said nothing. The mother said to her son, follow your half-sister. Find out where she gets her food. And Punthaku Maicha the next day went into the forest to the tree where the goat's bones were. Well, the little boy followed secretly and he saw the Rakshas. And the Rakshas came and gave food to Punthaku Maicha. And the food smelled so good that the little brother, he came and he ate the food as well. When he came home, his mother saw that her little boy had food in his fingernails. Where did you get that food? And he told her about the monster, the Rakshas. I want some of that food. Go into the forest and pretend to cry. Well, the boy went to the forest and he went to the tree and he began to cry. But were his tears true tears or false tears? False tears. And the Rakshas came with his long tongue and sharp teeth and smelt the boy, and the Rakshas ate him. And all that was left were her little half-brother's bones. The stepmother came to the forest, and there she found Punthaku Maicha by the tree. Punthaku Maicha said, look, here are my half-brother's bones. And the stepmother saw this and she cried, well, because of my jealousy, because of my wicked heart, your goat was eaten and my son was eaten. Forgive me, stepdaughter, forgive me. And Punthaku Maicha forgave her stepmother. And she and her stepmother and her own father lived happily for the rest of their lives. This is the ending that Lumana told to me. Is her ending the same as your ending? Quite different, isn't it?